Cindy, it's a powerful choice. Vote for Cindy so the people have a voice. Behind war and torture, yeah, Nancy stood in line. Now she's hiding, she refuses to change her mind. Military commissions, soldiers in our streets, lying us into destruction. She won't impeach.
Who's going to be the next congressman in place of Nancy Pelosi? This is Sheehan.
Thank you very much. Before I get started, I want to introduce a candidate for Supervisor District 9, Ava Royale. Can you stand up? And this is District 9. I live here. So if you want to know anything about Ava's platform, if you live in the district, you can see her. She has campaign material and stuff like that. So I want to thank you for coming out. Nancy Pelosi, who I'm running against, you guys all know who she is? Yeah. So there's like two significant pieces of legislation that happened during the Clinton administration. Everybody always says, oh, all this stuff started with Reagan. Well, no, all this stuff really started when the first Europeans stepped on this continent, if you want to go back that far. but Reagan didn't have anything to do with what's happening right now, today, with our economy. It was Bill Clinton and it was the current George Bush that deregulated derivatives markets and leveraging things. You can tell I'm an economist. But Nancy Pelosi, in the 90s, the first piece of legislation that she voted for was the Telecommunications Act, which deregulated the media. In 1983, 50 corporations owned most of the media. And today, it's 5. And so what it is, and I believe one of the major reasons we're at this point where we are now is because our corporate media are just propaganda tools for the U.S. government. And it's almost like a chicken and egg and chicken thing. Is it the media that controls the government, or is it the government that controls the media, or is it some kind of symbiotic, evil symbiotic relationship? And another thing Nancy Pelosi worked with Bill Clinton on, and has anybody ever heard of a guy named Robert Rubin? He was another CEO of Goldman Sachs, and I believe he was Clinton's Treasury Secretary, right? And Hillary Clinton, who's somebody that I don't see eye to eye with on many issues, but when she was First Lady, her big thing was health care reform, right? Well, Robert Rubin said, no. We're not going to work on that. We're going to work on NAFTA, and we're going to work on eliminating the Glass-Steagall Act, which was eliminated by the Graham-Bliley-Leach Act in 1999. And guess who voted for it? Nancy Pelosi. The Graham-Bliley, I don't know how I can remember this shit. The Graham-Bliley-Leach Act repealed Glass-Steagall, which was an important New Deal program that prohibited banks and finance companies and insurance companies from consolidating. When they consolidate, now that's what they're saying, we have to bail them out because they're too big to fail. And when any part of them goes down, the whole system collapses. So, and And some people think that's not such a bad thing. Maybe the system needs to collapse. However, it's going to collapse on us. It's not going to collapse on Nancy Pelosi. It's not going to collapse on George Bush or Hank Paulson or Robert Rubin, who I believe is also advising Barack Obama on. And it's like this incestuous relationships that really they're, incesting each other, and we're the ones getting screwed. So anyway, the media is deregulated, and what do we have? We have Time Warner. Do you know 1 out of every 4 people that log into the internet log into AOL? We have Disney, ABC. We have News Corp. We have Bertelsmann, AG, BMG. And we have Viacom, CBS. They own most of the media in this country. And how can we, as people, be assured that we're getting non-biased information? Well, we can't from these people because NBC, who owns NBC now? General Electric. General Electric are major war profiteers. So is it in their interest to tell the truth about the war? No, of course it's not in their interest. So there's a great site. I wish I wrote it down for you all. But you just go on and you put in your zip code, and it tells you who owns the media in your area. So just Google that. I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. And so in July, while Congress was passing the legislation that, eliminated the Fourth Amendment and FISA protections, the U.S. District Court granted Viacom, they granted the request for our user information on YouTube. Did you know that? That Viacom can get your username and your password and see what videos you've watched. Is this a democracy and a republic we're living in? Or is this a fascist state? So, they're doing this in the guise of no, not Homeland Security, but, apartheid, no. That's another thing. When you own the rights to something and people are watching it, licensing, yeah, and so that's what they're saying. They're saying that they're doing it so they can have their protection. It's not copyright protection. Thank you. So we have a great guest, and we're going to have a great panel. I just want to close with what I feel like we should do with the media. I would love to talk to you all night about the struggles I've had with the corporate media, which have been many. I'll just tell one quick story. When I went down to Crawford, Texas, the first time in August of 2005, I went down there on a Sunday. I sat in the ditch. I got called from Wolf Blitzer's show to be on the next morning. And so we had to go down to the Crawford Junior High. Every time you see a reporter from Crawford standing in front of a barn, it's just totally fake. It's just it's just a prop that they use. But I honestly did not know that the White House press corps travels with the president. I had no idea that they did that. I thought when he went to Crawford, they took a vacation too. Well, no, they also go to Crawford. And so there was a story. Oh my God, there was something that they could cover that didn't involve George Bush riding his bike or clearing brush. So Wolf Blitzer invited me to be on his show. So I went to the junior high, and before we went on, the producer and I were chit-chatting, and she said, "Wow, you're getting a lot of coverage." And I went, "Yeah, I know. That's weird, huh?" And she goes, "You're lucky it's a slow news week." And I said, "You know what? You know why I'm here? Because 24 of our troops have died this week. That's not a slow news week." She goes, "Well, you know what I mean." And I said, "No, I don't know what you mean. So, and then I got covered great by the corporate media until they figured out, wow, she's not a fluke, she's not going away, and she actually knows what she's talking about. So then they started to treat me and marginalize me like I'm loony, I'm just a grieving mother, and so they started to marginalize me. And I was still able to get on a lot of the so-called progressive shows, but when I became an independent and started running against Nancy Pelosi, that source of media dried up pretty much. So I have KPFA, and we have to keep KPFA independent and strong. But one of my solutions to this media mess we're in, first of all, would just to throw your fucking TV out the window. That's my first solution. My second solution, if you're not going to do that, is to, and someone said, oh, I can't vote for Cindy because she uses bad words. Huh, Pam? Somebody told you that. I saw her one time and she cussed, so I can't vote for her. It's okay if you know about torture. It's okay if you fund war. It's okay if you don't impeach war criminals. It's okay if you take away our Fourth Amendment, our Eighth Amendment, our First Amendment. It's okay if you bail out Wall Street, but God forbid, Nancy Pelosi say, a bad word, then she'd lose people's votes. So, anywho, we have to wrest control of our media away from the corporations. And one way I believe to do that would be to have local boards oversee media, just like local school boards should be overseeing schools, to have local boards that would be in tune with the needs of the community or the wants of the community, and not to have a national corporate takeover of our information. So to have localized boards, what we need here isn't the same thing they need in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But we're all being homogenized in this global media market. So to wrest control and to put it in the hands of local citizen boards, to put the control of our media, that would be something that we would work on strenuously when I get to Congress. And then we're going to hear panel members to have other kinds of solutions. So again, thank you for being here, and it's going to be a great night, and we'll, I guess, get on with the show. Thank you.
Where it all began. The power of a woman's the power of every man. We can take a stand. Yeah, we can. For Cindy Sheehan. Cindy Sheehan.